Hello and welcome everyone to the Q&A for the Japanese Art of Happy Money, the 7-week video course to heal your family money wounds, clear energy blocks, and transform your relationship with money. I'm Cari Hernandez with the Shift Network, and I am honored to be your host as we explore the teachings of Ken Honda and address questions about his course, The Japanese Art of Happy Money, which begins Tuesday, November 19th at 6 p.m. Pacific. If you're unable to join us live for the course, you can still participate in this course. I'll explain more about that later, but first, I want to introduce my guest. Ken Honda is a best-selling self-development author in Japan, with book sales surpassing 7 million copies since 2001. His latest book is called Happy Money, The Japanese Art of Making Peace with Your Money. And now, please join me in welcoming Ken. Thank you for being here, Ken.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Cari. Thank you, and I'm so happy to be here.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ken. Before we start with our questions, and we have many, can you first tell us a bit about Happy Money and your work?
Happy money is money that makes you smile when you receive it, and when you spend it, it gives you joy. And so happy money gives you a warm feeling when you think of money. And unfortunately, 95% of us don't have happy money, or we're not in the flow of happy money. We're in the flow of unhappy money. So my vision is to turn all the money smile, and then people enjoy happy money's circulation.
Wonderful. Thank you. And would you like to share a little bit of how did you start on this path of your work?
I was born into interesting family. My father was a very successful accountant, and then I was taught about money when I was 7, 8, and 9. So by the time I was 17, I knew a lot about money. I started my business when I was 20 and 21, and I ended up being financially independent when I was 29, and I retired for my baby girl. And I concentrated on child raising for 4 years. And during the semi-retirement, I got this vision of writing books on happiness and money. And the rest of sort of history in Japan, I published more than 56 or 7 books and sold nearly 8 million copies by now. And first English book, Happy Money, came out this June. And now it came out in Holland, and it's going to be out in Spanish country. We've sold about 190,000 copies so far, and we're very excited and then to expand my work in China and other countries in the world.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing the overview and your journey. And we are so excited to be working with you. So I know we do have many questions. I would love to begin with some that were sent to our webcast.
Yes.
So our first question is, how can I make the money I know I deserve without sabotaging the process? Also, how to get rid of doubts and money blocks?
That's also the question I get asked frequently in Japan. And what I find about money is that the questions are universal. If I go to China, Europe, North America, Japan, all the questions are very similar. And most of us have a hard time receiving money because we feel somewhat unworthy of ourselves. So when money was offered to us, even though it's a legitimate work, we render service or do work, but we still feel shy when it comes to receiving money. So in a way, we are super good at giving, but we are lousy at receiving. So receiving is the first rule of money EQ. And if you have a hard time receiving money, think of the other way around. When we try to give something and the other part, your friend or whoever that is, say, no, I can't accept that. You feel kind of funny, like I want you to receive it. Because receiving is the other end of cycle of giving. So unless you receive, somebody cannot give. So you're receiving for the giver too. So if you understand this cycle of appreciation of both receiving and giving, you have to end the cycle of this giving and receiving by being a receiver side. So you may feel a little funny or strange or blocks at the time. You take one more step and just with a smile, thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you, I accept that. If you open your heart and accept financial reward or smile or appreciation, whatever that is, if you are willing to open up to new possibility, you complete the cycle. So be willing to do that for the giver, because if you graciously accept the money, they feel great too. They feel the joy of giving. So just imagine this, by receiving beautifully, you give the giver the joy of giving. So just a little practice, and it takes a lot of courage, a lot of openness on your side to do. But once you're open and start receiving, you realize that how much money, friendship, and care and support you haven't been able to receive. And then you feel like, wow, all the things I didn't receive are there. And then you'll be surprised the cycle of receiving and giving will accelerate in your life.
Oh, wonderful. I really appreciate the way that you are saying there's balance to giving and being able to receive. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you.
Thank
Our
you.
next our next question. Why is it that some people have such a knack, such an ease for making a lot of money while others seem to struggle to earn, never mind attracting lots of money?
Mm-hmm. That's also my favorite question because I have witnessed so many people in my life in terms of money. I used to serve a cup of tea for my father's clients when I was 9 or 10. I really enjoyed it because I just annoy them with all those professional questions like, what's your ROE, or how are you making profit in your company, sir? And they're like, oh, they feel so intimidated. So I really enjoy giving them very difficult questions. And since then, I've seen some entrepreneurs do well, and some entrepreneurs do not so good. Even if they're the same age, same educational background, their financial outcome is so different. And I realized that certain people have gifts around making money, and others have this blocks and unwillingness to do business. So your attitude toward money is either positive or negative. So positive people tend to attract more money, and whereas negative, if you have a negative attitude around money, you tend to lose it. You have a hard time keeping it because you feel deep inside, if money is bad, you don't want any bad thing in your house. So I always often talk about it as a joke. Just imagine money as a monster or pet in your house. Is that like a Pokemon fun pet in your house? Or it becomes a monster that could eat you up, your parents or your kids? If you think money is scary, you don't want a scary thing in your house. And so if you have a positive attitude around money, you'll be very good at making money. And if you have somewhat negative attitude toward money, you want to keep some distance. That's why some people are very good at attracting money. Other people are like, oh, I'm okay with enough. If I as long as I can pay all the bills, I'm fine. Well, as long as I'm on survival mode, but still I can survive, I'm okay. So it's up to you how comfortable you feel around money and business.
Thank you. Thank you. Our next
Thank you.
question is coming from Karen, and she has a disability, physical disability, and she's living on a disability income, which she said is very low. And she wants to shift into happy money, but it doesn't seem like the amount that she receives for her disability is enough. And so she said she doesn't feel like she can get ahead, and she doesn't feel like she can kind of get out from underneath this whole program of this fixed income. She'd love to know how to move between making money and having disabilities.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So there's nothing to do with the level of income you can gain, and also with your physical condition. Unless your work is a manually labor-related thing, these days most of the work are on computers, or even if you're on wheelchair, you're physically if you have a physical handicap, your ability of making money doesn't get influenced. So I suggest you start assessing your life. There must be something you're good at, that you like, or you find joy. And if you find some gifts that you're good at something, and you have to focus on that and improve your skills and gifts. For example, if you're good at making crafts, that's one way of making more money. If you're good at making a web page, that's also another income source. And if you're good at writing, you could make a nice, beautiful tagline for companies. Or if you're good at helping people, you can do that online. And so there are so many things you can do online. The key is that you create, or you can come up with many different ideas of, with this situation, even with this handicap, what can I do, and what can I do it with fun, and what can I serve people, and how can I serve and support people with whatever I know. And you may start something very humble, but as years go by, it could be bigger. I've known many physically handicapped people start the businesses and they do well, and they hire other handicapped people, and they do a network of computer-based business online. I know actually one person on a wheelchair. He started a company, so he's got something like 200 people working with him. They send out all those work that you can do online. So it's nothing to do with commuting or just doing something physical. So be creative and just come up with something that you can be supporting other people. And that way, people even wouldn't notice that you're handicapped.
That is very inspiring. Thank you so much. All right, our next
question.
Our next question. They are. People are very excited. And our next question is from Joyce. And she said, "Hi, Ken. During your upcoming course, will you be sharing many Zen or other spiritual teachings that you use? I found what you said about debt is my friend to be so powerful. Like it came from a very deep place that can be applied in many other areas of my life. And that's what I'm hoping you're going to be sharing. I would love to know more. Thank you."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. It has been always in my life, so I didn't think it is special or something new. But when I talk with my, for example, North American friends, European friends, and Chinese friends, they're like, wow. And the most often heard comment on what I say is like, Ken, I never thought about it that way. And I really find fun and joy in saying something that would be like, wow, Ken, I never thought about it that way. Some people think positively, other people think negatively. And my Zen approach is neither of them. My approach to money is looking at it as a neutral thing. So some positive people think like, money is great, you make more money, you'll be happy. More is better. That's one way of looking at it. And negative people tend to think that money will make you unhappy. That way you have as little relationship as possible with money. So try to have some distance, and then you'll find spiritual and emotional happiness. And so my approach is money is just simply energy. You can make it happy, you can make it unhappy. it's up to who you are. And I've interviewed many millionaires in my life, and I think money is a magnifier. If you're a bad person, you become worse. And if you're a beautiful person, money will make you more generous, more abundant, and happier person. So my Zen approach may sound unique to North American, but it's very simple. If you think that it could be your friend, wow, and all these years I thought debt is a big burden on me and debt is pulling down. But instead, if you take a look at debt as a trust from your banks or from your friends or relatives, that can actually uplift you. It's how you take a look at in your life. It's either not positive or negative. If you see through all the cultural norms or all the cultural common sense, you see the true essence. So if you see the true essence, you see nothing else. So you see debt as a friend, and debt is a trust, and debt is something that uplifts you. You have a hard time seeing it with anything else. So if you take a look at many things on life too, if you think business or work as your labor, you feel like you're just a worker, almost like a slave that you have to do certain hours a day. But if you think work is like a labor of love, it's a lot of fun. And if you somehow turn your passion into money, if you can find your gifts and live on it, and if you can make enough money and good money by doing what you love, you find work not work anymore. It's a lot of fun. For me, doing this or writing books or talking to thousands of people and impacting millions of people through my books is just bliss. It's so much fun. So I can do it forever. So what's interesting is that more I enjoy, more money I receive. And the more I give and share, more money I receive. I've shared my booklets, physical booklets, I've handed out to about 2 million people. It cost me about $2 million. It's a gift. And the more I gave, I made so much money by selling more than 8 million copies of books. So the more you share, the more you have. So if your mindset is different, your life will be also shifted accordingly. So that's what I teach. I can go on for hours, but I think I should stop for now. Cari?
Oh, that's wonderful. I appreciate what you're saying and how you were saying to look at the perspective of debt. So wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. And it's not just that, if I have more time, I can talk about bad misfortune in life or accidents and all the other things. One of the things I say to people, I say weird things to people and just shock them sometimes. A friend of mine got laid off the other day, and I said, "Wow, that's great news. Congratulations." And he said, "Ken, did you hear me? I got laid off." And I said, "Yes, congratulations." Because usually being laid off is a great start of your beautiful life. And I have hundreds of stories that being laid off is one of the best things happened to my life. I've had all the witnesses. So when you think of a certain thing from a different perspective, you're not afraid of life because you know and you can have trust in life. You'll be sort of like carried away to the end of your life. And then once you have this feeling that you're protected, you're cared for, you're okay, perspectives on many things will shift. That's what I'm excited to share. If you shift your thinking and observation, your life will be totally different. It's that the people are not taught this. People are so afraid. We are so afraid of so many things. And when we are afraid, all the things scare us. So once we let go of this scare idea, and if you get out of what I call scarcity, your life will be very different.
Thank you. Our next question is from Melina, and she is asking, how do I allow the channels that I've created to allow money to flow into me? I will specifically, like, how do I close the deal, or how do I become the chosen one for a contract I'm wanting?
Mm-hmm. I think there's a business IQ side and EQ side. I think both are very important because unless you make the right deals or present in a way that the other side feels like this is a great deal, you cannot close a sale. And at the same time, if you have a lot of love for your client, they feel it. And I think people don't want to be taken advantage of. So when they feel like they're taken seriously and heard and loved, they feel loved. They are interested in what you say. And then if you're sincere in caring and supporting and all the support you can give to your clients, they feel it. People can usually feel if somebody's dishonest or honest, and if people are interested in only your money or not, people can feel it. So business EQ side, if you open your heart and if you care for your clients and if you have so much passion and love for your clients and customers, they feel it. And at the same time, I always, when I teach business seminar, you have to come up with the right proposals and that they cannot say no. And when I do business with people, I try to come up with the right proposals. So it'll make them feel stupid if they don't say yes. So just be creative in thinking that they love to work with you. So if you can make them feel that it'd be really stupid if they're not working with you, they'll say the only answer they have is yes. So if they feel like the deal is legitimate and it seems like it will be working, and they feel like they have enough support and love and care and passion, the only answer they have is yes. So don't be afraid. Just be creative in coming up with the right proposals. But you will not be in your sacrifice, but you just find joy in supporting them. And if your attitude toward work is that way, you'll find the right clients. Because I think this world is so fair. If you keep cheating, if you keep doing lousy business, if you try to take advantage of other people, people will know it and they will talk about you. But if you just stay with your integrity and just keep caring your clients and keeping great results, people find you. So it's just a matter of time. Just be patient. It might take some time, sometimes few months to a year, but if you just keep doing the right thing and just with an open heart, people will love you, and they'll make a long line for you. And so you'll probably have a different problem, like how can I choose my clients? I cannot work with everybody. So that will be your new problem. So just come up with some great proposal that they'll say yes with passion. Thank you. I'm so glad I've met you, and that's the best comment you'll probably get. So be creative and have fun.
Our next question is coming from Heather, and she's asking, how can I come over a lifetime crippling feeling that I have a lack of self-worth? My money block is that other people get to have abundant lives, but I'm not worthy of it. I have been fired from jobs a few times, and that makes me feel rejection and truly challenging for me to claim my self-worth.
Mm. Yes, now I feel the pain of you, and it hurts when you feel like you're unworthy and you're being rejected a few times. But being rejected a few times doesn't mean that you don't have value or you're not worthy. It just simply means that you're not in the right place. I think the most important thing in life is you have to be in the right place to meet the right person and to be able to work at the right place. So I think you're simply in the wrong place. So, for example, I always imagine if John Lennon worked in a accounting office, would he be happy or not? And he'd be probably scolded by his boss, like, don't sing, just do the books. So if you're, even if you have a great talent, if you're in the wrong place, people will ridicule you or scold you or not appreciate you. But if you're in the right spot, people respect you and people worship you and people appreciate you. So being fired several times means that you're being in wrong places. That's all. It doesn't mean anything else. But you need to have somebody to support you or love you no matter what, and then you have enough love in your glass. If you have no love and support and respect in your glass, you have a hard time giving your love and friendship for other people. And the most important thing to do is pour love and friendship and respect and appreciation from your love to your cup or glass. So unless you start doing it, nobody else will. So just I want you to be the first one to pour respect and appreciation and support for yourself. And I like to do that with you too. I like to support you, and we'll see what happens. Because once you have this intention of start loving you, respecting you, I've heard so many interesting things happen to you. And I heard from my students that once they start pouring love and respect to your glass every morning in your imagination, people get calls from their friends about new job offers, and you get many different opportunities in very interesting, mysterious ways. So I just suggest that you start pouring love to you and start looking at you from your parents' mother's view. And if your parents were critical, think about your grandparents. If they're passed away, it doesn't really matter. Just think about your grandparents, how much they love you. If you have memory, if you don't know their faces, just come up with your imagination, and then just see how lovable you are. Even though you're lousy at something, that doesn't mean that you're a lousy person. You may not be good at making things with your hands. That doesn't make you unworthy person. So think of and take a look at yourself from a different perspective. And if you can find something that's fun or great about you, you just start appreciating it. And that way, you just pouring love to your glass. And also, I suggest a few other things. If you have friends, ask around your friends and can you tell me 3 great things about me? Or can you give me 3 reasons why I'm a nice friend? So if you can ask around and just maybe film them with your iPhone. When you're feeling depressed, you can watch it over and over. And people are willing to do that for you. So just do that. Just say 3 good things about me. And you don't need to talk about negative things on this video. And then you have a beautiful collection of affirmation videos. And that's something I would recommend too. And if you have no friends, do that yourself first. And then just watch it over. That's a fun way of raising your self-esteem.
Thank you for that very creative way to address this issue and self-worth. And if you're just joining us, we are here with Ken Honda, learning about his course, The Japanese Art of Happy Money, which begins on Tuesday, November 19th. Please go ahead and log on to happymoneycourse.com. One more time, that's happymoneycourse.com for all of the details and to register. All right, our next question is from Rosalind, and she's asking, how do I shift from the generational track of lack of money to creating a legacy moving forward of abundance?
Thank you. It's a beautiful question, Rosalind. It's a hard one to say, Rosalind. Thank you for the question. Intergenerational blocks are fascinating because when I give money counseling, I always ask them to talk about their parents and also their grandparents, if possible. And if they knew, I ask them about their grandparents and where they come from and their life in 30 seconds or 10 seconds even. And what fascinates me is that you are the combination of your parents and above them is parents, so the grandparents. So think about it. With 3 generations back, you have like 8 grandparents, and then after that is 32 and 64, and there's so many people involved in your life. And what's interesting is that the way they live their life, they have some issues. I'm sure they have their victories, they have their sad incidents in their life, and that all of that gets passed down to the next generation. For example, when I teach entrepreneurship courses, I ask my students, what's your parents' background? And then they say, both of my parents worked for government, so that they're just so conservative, and then I hate that environment. That's why I want to make it in business. And what's interesting is that, do you know why they chose to be conservative? And they sometimes say it's because their parents went bankrupt because they were the entrepreneurs. So that's why your parent could be worrying about you, knowing that when they're small, their parents went bankrupt. That's why they made up their mind, I have to have a security in my life. That's why they ended up being working for a government. That's why they're against you becoming an entrepreneur. So these intergenerational blocks happen because of their belief system. And when you just go back to second and the third generation above, they usually suffer so many things with depression, wars, and all the other up and downs of the economy. And through that hardships of life, they made up their mind about money and work and life. Some people made up their mind that they have to be tough to survive, and others felt money could be the source of all evils. And also, you have to work hard to stay alive and survive. So that's why they have to keep working so hard. So when you just write down all the belief system, all the things that you have about money and partnership and work and time, you'll be amazed how much you have from your parents. And then usually your parents come from different backgrounds. So your parents, for example, my mother is a very generous person, so she likes to treat people, she likes to give people. My father was upset because giving meaning you're losing. So like giving too much is a stupid thing to do. Where mother thinks that giving certain thing away is a noble thing to do. So the worth system collide. And then what happens is like in my head, I wonder, should I give to be generous, or should I save to be smart? That always happens. That collision is in me. And at the same time, my wife has a different view of money. So if you start thinking, what is this? Where did I get that? Could be your parents, could be grandparents or grandparents that you even don't know the names and faces. Even though you have no memories of your grandparents, what happened when your parents were small? They decided something so strongly that's influencing their lives and also potentially yours without your knowledge. So we do a retreat in Japan, spending 3 days looking back on what happened, what really happened when you're small, what really happened, just using your imagination to your parents usually open doors of new possibilities, because once you know you have certain belief system, wow, do I want it or not? And then you have a choice. You can keep it or you can let go with appreciation, because all that limiting beliefs was there to protect you from losing money or from making bad decisions around money. So all the limiting beliefs come from fear. So intergenerational blocks, it takes a long time to undo it, because think about how many years it took to formulate those beliefs and placed on you, spending so many years. So you cannot undo it in 2 seconds. It might take at least months and sometimes years, but I think it's worth doing it. So I just suggest you do that with you and possibly with your partners and friends if your friends are interested. I'll do more in these courses, but you can do it on your own too. And the most important thing is give blessings to your parents and grandparents, because they were not bad people. They didn't scold their kids with bad intention. They did that to protect them. They did that so they could be strong. So give them love and respect. They did their best, and their best what may not be enough. Your parents did their best. I know you feel like they should have done it in a different way, but that's all they knew at the time. So just give them respect and love and care as much as you can, and let it go and just heal them. If you can heal the intergenerational blocks and money wounds, you feel so liberated. And maybe something we can do it together before we end. Cari?
Thank you. Our next question is from Mike. And Mike said, I have read some of your books, and I think it is time for me to start to organize my life, like family, work, money. And where do I start?
That's a fun question. I mean, you can start from anywhere, because everything is connected. Because if you want happy money to be in your life, you can start appreciating. And then appreciation doesn't end with money. If you start appreciating money coming in, money going out, you also appreciate your parents. You also appreciate the people you work with. You also appreciate the partner of 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. You appreciate your kids. You appreciate your cats and dogs and pets. You appreciate all the surroundings in your life. So I think the easiest way, the place to do is just find something that you can appreciate for. You can appreciate roof above your head, or money in the bank, or the food in the fridge, or whatever that is. You start appreciating, and appreciation is always fun. I always do this if I have a few minutes, and then when I feel somewhat down or depressed, or when I don't feel good, I start looking for 3 things that I appreciate for it in my life. So if you can, just start looking for 3 things that you can appreciate for. It could be your brother, it could be your parents, it could be your pets, whatever that is. And then just explain to yourself why you appreciate it so much. And do that with your partner, especially if you don't do it regularly. Your partner would probably forget or wouldn't know why you appreciate her or him for. So once you start doing that, that ripple effect will impact other field of life. If you start doing that around money, that will have an influence on your other areas like work and partnership or health. So start appreciating, and then start changing one thing at a time, one action, one behavior. If you just say want to start appreciating money, next time when you spend money or use your credit card, thank the cashier or thank the person you're paying your money for just say appreciate, thank you. That was a very good service, or thank you for the food, or thank you for the ride, or whatever that is. Start appreciating. You feel probably very different. And then once you know, wow, this is fun, you probably find it hard to stop. And so a lot of my students start appreciating one thing, and then they ask me questions. Can I do 10? Of course you can do 10. You can do 100 or 1,000. My mentor Wahei Takeda said, say thank you 3,000 times. So by the end of the year, you have 1 million thank you in your system. If you do 3,000 thank you a day and 1 million thank you a year, your life will be totally different. So if you feel like doing it, just start with 10. And then if you have fun, just start appreciating 20 more things in life to appreciate for. And then you'll never stop it. It could be addictive. I'm going to warn you beforehand. And you cannot stop. And it's so much fun.
That's wonderful. So thank you, Ken. I appreciate
that.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me share. This is so important for me to share, because my mentor Wahei passed away 3 years ago, and he said, Ken, I have everything left for you, so just go out in the world and start sharing with all the people to make this world a fun, beautiful place. That is my only wish, is what he said. So I'm so happy for him, for you, and your family too, because if you're happy and if you become more happy, other people will be affected too.
All right. Thank you so much, Ken. Well, we do have time for a few more questions, but before we take those, I would like to give a few details about the Japanese art of happy money. This is going to be a transformative 7 weeks where Ken will guide you through the fundamental skills and competencies you'll need to heal your family money wounds, clear energy blocks, and transform your relationship with money. The 7-week course takes place on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific, starting on November 19th. Please note that we will skip the weeks of Christmas and New Year's holiday. And if for any reason you're unable to join us live for the class, you won't miss the teachings, because you'll be able to receive the audio and video replays, transcripts, and handouts through our course homepage. And also, I would like to remind you that we offer a no-risk money-back guarantee on our courses, giving you a full 2 weeks, in this case until December 3rd, to make sure that you absolutely love this course. And as an added option, all participants are welcome to connect to a private Facebook community group, and this allows you to stay in touch with your fellow course mates, and it's a very supportive way to enhance your class. And everyone who registers will receive the Japanese Art of Happy Money bonus collection, and this includes Mario Up, an ebook by Ken and Janet Bray Atwood. It also includes Overcoming Your Money Struggles and Relationships, and this is a video teaching with Ken. And the final third part of that is Living from Your Gifts and Talents. This is a guide to creating happy money by doing what you love, and it's a video teaching with Ken. And when you register by midnight Pacific, November 12th, you'll receive a special bonus gift, and that is the Giving Path. And this is a video dialogue with Ken and Lynn Twist. Lynn and Ken dialogue about the mindset of scarcity and how it affects the wealthy and those in poverty. And when you nourish and share what you already have, it expands through the principle of sufficiency. All right, great. Thank you. I also wanted to say that you can again visit the website happymoneycourse.com for information and registration. All right, let's go back for our next question. And this is, how can I unblock financial worries and a non-flowing of money for me and my family?
Yes, a lot of people ask me, how can I let go of money worries? And I ask them back, what do you worry about? So most people don't know what they worry about because they kind of have this anxiety and worry for something not very specific. So I ask them again, what do you worry about? So they all say, I'll worry about the situation that I get laid off and I cannot pay the bills, I cannot pay the mortgages, and I cannot pay for the college tuition for my kids. I'll be worried about no money when I get sick and cannot go to the hospital. So they worry about something bad in their life. So, and I ask them, are you worried about money or are you worried about the situation? And I said, oh, that's right. I'm not worried about the money. I'm worried about the situation. And then I asked them, so you have to separate the no money situation from money because we're not worried about money. We are worried about the situation without any money. And no money situation, we think it's a bad thing to happen. But I've interviewed many millionaires, and then at least in their lifetime, 2 or 3 times they happen to be in this situation with no money. So, no money situation doesn't kill you. The worrying about no money situation kills you because a lot of people commit suicide over money. And then it's so unfortunate because they didn't die for what they're worried about. They're worried about something that they could possibly fix. Their parents could have fixed, or their friends could have fixed. But the worrying could kill you. So once you know that worrying about no money situation, you can also find fix too. Because, for example, all those millionaires who were going through this no money situation, they realized that that was the time to ask for help. As I said before, asking for help and receiving are the two difficult things that we can do in our life. We are so good at giving. We are so gracious. We're just happy to give to our friends, but we are so lousy at receiving. So once we know that we need to do both sides, giving and receiving. So giving help and also asking for help are the two sides of the coins. So no money situation somehow forces you to ask for help. So if you're not good at asking for help, which probably a lot of us, it's a situation that we need to rely on other people. You may need to rely on your parents or brothers and sisters, your friends, could be your neighbors. And after interviewing all those people who've been through this situation, they all say the same thing. People help you. And this world is not a bad place because when I have no money to buy food, my neighbors kept feeding my family. And often I heard. So once you are in this situation, you can ask for help. And then also I know you're worried about the situation with no help situation because even you ask for help, nobody comes. So that's what you're afraid most. So just go deeper, one at a time. And if you think of the situation, you have to ask for help and nobody helps. But if you ask for help, somebody will come. So it's also a testing phase of your life. And then people don't want to deal with it. So if possible, instead of going through these situations, do all the work you don't like or boring job, but you don't need to go through this insecure feeling of asking for help. So just for just fun of it, just imagine you're in this situation that you have to ask for help. Who can you turn to? Your friends, your neighbors, your relatives, or whoever that is. Think of doing that. And then if you are willing to be vulnerable, in that situation you have to, you will rely on somebody, and just if you're sick or if you cannot work, that's something you have to ask for help. And once you know that, or once you know that help will be there, you don't need to worry about it. So just ask around your friends. Can I ask you this? If I get sick, can you help me? And if you have good friends, they'll say, of course, that, you know. And if you ask your brothers and sisters or parents or neighbors, they'll say yes. So be willing to take a step and just start asking, can you help me if I fall down? And one time my brother said, brother, I will not let you fall when you're just in a bad situation. And I cried. And I asked my friends, can you help me if I have no money? And they said, of course, you helped me so much. So I'll just help you. I may not be able to help you big, but at least I can just let you stay for a week or 2 weeks or as long as you need. So I counted how many friends can help me. So I said in my books, if you have a friend who lets you stay for a week, just stay there for a week and just go to your friend number 2 for another week. And if you have more than 50 friends, after 1 year, you can go back to your friend number 1 and said, hey, it's been a long time, a year. Can I stay another week? And then that way, you don't have to worry about money. So worrying about money is not worrying about money. It's worrying about your life. So if you start counting your friends, and if you learn how to trust life, you have nothing to worry about. So money situation is not money worries. It's about trust issues. So can you trust your life will take care of you? Or if you cannot trust life, and then you have to do everything on your own. And once you learn this trust and how to trust it and how to let go of all the attachment, you have less worries about anything. So this is something I want to teach in my courses too. But just think about it. Why is it so hard for me to trust? And that probably is the core issues of all the struggles in life. If you know how to trust, and if you let go of attachment and worries, you have a different perspective on life and money. So I can just talk about it for days, but I think I'll stop. Cari?
Thank you so much, Ken. And we have so many more questions, but I think we have time for just one more. And that next question is, how do I stop comparing my financial situation to others? Because I start feeling so much envy, like everyone else is passing me by and I'm stuck.
Yes, that's. I love this question. That reminds me of my interviews with a very wealthy friend who had a public company. I asked him, when did you start feeling wealthy? I kind of expected the answer of like 5 years ago, or when company went public. And he said, I don't feel wealthy at all. And I asked him why. He said, I don't have a private jet. What, really? And then I asked another person who had a private jet, and do you feel wealthy? And he said, no. And I asked him why. I have a private jet, but my private jet seats only 6 people. It's a small, tiny airplane. And then when he goes to his private jet, there are usually bigger private jets stored in the airport. So, and all the cars they're driving in are Rolls Royce or big Mercedes-Benz. So I feel like I have very little money, even though I have a private jet. So if you start comparing, you'll be just finding the shortcut to unhappiness. So once you start comparing yourself, just breathe in, and then, do I want to take this path and just finding miserable feeling? Or I don't need to compare with guys with private jets, because even if you have a big private jets, he'll all probably compare with the jets with the royal Saudi royal families with the golden seats and golden everything. So you can laugh about it. Why do I have to compare with our neighbors, keeping up with Joneses? So like, you can laugh about it and just start counting how much you have, and think of your young days when you had nothing, and compare it to your college days or high school days. You have incredible amount of so many things. So once you know that you have more and you have enough, and being enough or feeling enough is a very important thing to be happy. So once you start comparing with other people, just breathe in. I don't need to compare with other people. To be happy, I let go of comparison in life. So that is affirmation I give you as a gift. So when you start feeling like, oh, jealousy, why do I not have this? Like, just breathe in and say, I let go of this jealousy to be happy. I let go of this comparison for my happiness. So once you just do that a few times a day, it'll really clear the feeling. So once you start feeling those funny feelings, you have to intervene yourself, stop yourself, and just breathe in. And do I need to do this or not? And oftentimes you don't need to. And then find happiness, because having what you want and enjoying what you have are the two important qualities to be happy. So just start counting all the happiness in your life. That way you don't need to compare with other people. Cari?
Thank you so much. This has been a wonderful hour. And thank you to all of you for being with us today and for your wonderful questions. The Japanese Art of Happy Money begins Tuesday, November 19th. Again, please visit happymoneycourse.com to learn more and to register. And if you do so by midnight, November 12th, you'll receive the special bonus of The Giving Path, and that's a video dialogue with Ken and Lynn Twist. Ken, do you have any final words for our listeners? I know we're getting ready to wrap up, and we'd love to hear if you have any final parting words for us.
I've taught about happy money for the past 20 years, and then I realized it's not about money. So next time when you worry about money, when you feel anxiety around money, just start giving just $1 or $2 to a charity or some donation box, and just feel I have more than enough. And also start trusting life, because not trusting life kills a lot of fun in your life. And when you start comparing other people, also breathe in and then intervene what you feel. And whatever you do or wherever you are, you can have a choice. Either happy money or unhappy money. Happy life, unhappy life. The choice is yours. So stay happy and enjoy what you have, and then share what you know and who you are. That way you find more happiness and a more happy money flow coming into your life. So I want to bless you with all my heart, and I hope your life will be filled with joy and happiness. And thank you for spending your precious 1 hour with me, and all the great blessing to your life. Bye-bye.
Oh, thanks everyone for joining us today. And on behalf of us at the Shift Network, I wish you well and look forward to having you on this course or one in the future. Thank you.